Okay, I'm here with Chris and David for the EuroScrum on the 27th of November. Um, that's interesting. Is your mic not working, Chris? Well,
Chris has said, hey, let me get it in chat.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, let me just screen share. And then I will pass over to David to take the floor.
Okay, I don't have much of an update. I think since last time we met, I popped into a hangout of yours, Sasha, where you were working on an application with a colleague in London and you were doing some kind of greetings card application. But we just talked about RSpec and how it works.
Yeah.
And I popped out again. Oh, but I've done no other kind of hangouty open source agile venture stuff since then, I'm afraid, and I don't have plans for today. I'm kind of blocked. I've got to do an important forum today that's going to take up most of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it. Nothing blocking you other than not being available then.
Exactly.
All right. In that case, I will. I think Agile Venture site's just been quite slow for me today. But yeah. Well, I guess I'll talk while Chris is maybe getting himself set up. So yeah, I mean, I haven't. Well, I can't remember when it was we spoke to you. We've made a bit of progress on that. We've got a functional website, and by functional I mean you can go to the page and it doesn't throw an error. Yeah, we spent a lot of time getting set up on tests because it was the first time I'd used Cucumber properly, and also the first time I'd used Cucumber with Rails. So yeah, and we were having these dependency issues that I hadn't encountered before. But I think it's in a better place now. That sounds more morbid than I meant it to. I think it's in a better state now. But I've been sent a tech test yesterday, so I'm basically working on that at the moment.
Yeah. Do they give you a deadline or a time limit?
They said sort of about a week.
That sounds
yeah, it's
quite intimidating.
With these things, you want to sort of do them slightly sooner than they say if possible. Although that said, my girlfriend's on holiday. Well, she's taking like 3 days holiday around the weekend, so I'm not sure that I'll have much time for doing extra effort on the tech test. I'll have to see how it goes, and I might end up having to extend it if they will, or maybe it will just be quite straightforward. I'm not sure. It doesn't sound like that difficult a challenge. Anyway, but yeah, so till I do that, I'm not going to be doing anything Agile Venture. Someone who might have been you was suggesting, or maybe it was Tom, I can't remember. Someone was suggesting that we actually turn that charity card thing into an Agile Ventures project, which hadn't really occurred to me, mainly because I had no idea that you could just, I'd seen the page, but I hadn't really registered that you could just go there and kind of create a new project. I thought that was sort of, I don't know, a bit more of a process to it. But
no, it's literally one button to press, one button to click.
Yeah, so we might do that. I mean, the two reasons that have held me back is one, it wasn't actually the brainchild for either of us. It was another guy who's from this group that I might have mentioned, who just passed it over to us. I don't think he would actually mind at all, but I feel slightly awkward sort of starting out without telling him on someone else's website. The other one is that I think it's just going to be such a small project that the pair of us will hopefully be able to finish it off, perhaps with a bit of poking when we get stuck on technical issues once or twice more. But I think there's really not going to be much to it. It's going to be a case of setting up the initial page, which is a form, and then choosing an image, and then sort of splicing the data onto that image in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. We might save the data somewhere to a database, but it's going to be it's going to be basically a two or 3 page site, I think. But I might well do it anyway. I mean, I guess something we could possibly do with it, if nothing else, is the design thing. The other reason for doing it, I think, is this other group of people are quite closely aligned in sort of goals with Agile Ventures. They're an offshoot of a social movement that I'm part of, and they're an offshoot specifically who are sort of trying to get coding development jobs in many cases. Some of them have already got jobs and do it as a hobby, but I think most of them are in or trying to get in software development. And the whole point is to do stuff which is going to have a positive impact, as Sam described it. So I think it would be nice to bring some extra talent to Agile Ventures, and it would be nice to give these guys a place to get some support and a bit of infrastructure around projects that they might not have otherwise.
Nothing else. It gives you a little button to press to create a Hangout on Air that.
Well, that's true as well. Yeah, I've been doing that. I've been doing website 1 things to set up Hangouts for this project, which is it. So that's me. And I mean, the only thing blocking me really is the tech test, which will be done when it's done. Chris, are you set up yet? Have you got a working mic?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Hello. I'm Christian. I'm relatively new here.
Oh yeah. Welcome along. Is this your first Scrum?
No, I was only as a spectator.
Okay.
I'm doing the CS course, the EDX course right now.
Yeah.
And I want to join this Agile Adventure, to join a project, but I think the projects are a little more too advanced for me.
So
any tips?
I basically wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I don't know what the content of the course is. Do you know, like, what kind of well, I don't know. Like, so I came here from one of these development boot camps. So I'm not very experienced myself.
Which boot camp?
Makers Academy in London.
Oh, nice. I think the ADX course is the same. I mean, the content, but only I'm just started 1 month.
So I mean, what I would say is, like, are you on the Slack channel?
Yes, I am.
So if you sort of keep an eye out there for people who are running pair session, they'll in any given project, they'll often, if they create a pair session online for that project, it will pop up, I think, and just give a notification from the robot. And people are fine with, if you just want to come in and watch people do some coding and ask some questions, and the whole ethos of the site, I think, is
all the coding is done live on pairing.
Sorry.
All the code is done live. I mean, pairing.
Yeah, well, I probably not all of it, but certainly a lot of it is. It's very much here to encourage pairing, so
nice.
that new programmers can learn from more experienced ones. I've been in a lot of pairing sessions where I felt a lot like I was just dragging dragging the speed down, but learning a lot because I was with someone who was taking the time to explain what was going on to me, or quite often I would be the one driving, and even though it would probably be quite frustrating for them, they were sort of, rather than doing it and having me watch, they would be telling me what to do and why I was doing it. So I would definitely encourage getting involved. Don't worry about sort of what experience you are. I mean, you'll sort of naturally, I think, if you end up in pairing sessions, find sort of.
And do you know if there are any projects that are starting about now or maybe in the near future?
I don't know about ones that are starting, but I would say don't worry about sort of whether whether they're already going. I mean, the one that I've done the most on is website one, as in this website here, the Agile Ventures one.
Yes.
And that's really a mature project, and I just dived in because it was what the people who were available for pairing when I was around were working on. And there's something to be said for that, because that means you sort of get to read all this code.
When did you dive in? After you finished the Makers Academy course?
Yeah, I did, but I wouldn't necessarily have sort of recommended to myself in retrospect to wait that long. I mean, what I would say is this Scrum is usually quite quiet. I'm often up for pairing, and I think David is as well. But the busiest Scrums seem to be the 3:45 one, and maybe I think the 10 p.m. one. Sorry, I don't know where you are. This is not the 3:45 UTC and the 10 p.m. UTC. I forget what they're called.
Up as Pacific.
Yeah, but they seem to have a lot of people. So if you kind of, what I would suggest basically is just stick your head in several scrums until you find someone who you compare with, and hopefully once you've sort of paired with the same person 2 or 3 times, once you've paired with a few people, you'll start to find ones who you sort of work best with, or who just are working with.
I was looking over the OSRA project.
Yeah. And that's quite busy. I know. I don't know anyone personally who's working on it, but there are a lot of people.
There are about 4 or 5 people working on at the moment.
Yeah.
And they have their own Scrum in the evening.
Right.
Yes, they have it every day.
Yeah. So yeah, stick your head in there, I would say.
Do you think I should read all the code before and understand everything in the project before?
No.
No, definitely not. That's impossible. In general, it's impossible. What you'll find is in the second part of the book, there's a bit of in the second part of the edX course, there's a module on working with legacy code with some tips, but they're fairly straightforward. Just sort of playing with the code and getting to know it. But it always helps me is to have a goal, is to be working with somebody working with somebody that knows the code, and B, working with somebody that has a goal, that there's something that you want to change, some new feature you want to add. So that gives you a focus to understand the code. Because I think understanding code in general, even though they're not large programs, it's not. I don't find it's that easy to do without having a particular goal in mind, and then that makes it a whole lot more easy to find your way through it.
I understand.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to ask while you're here?
Excuse me?
Was there anything else you wanted to ask? Well, either during or after the Scrum?
No, it's fine, thank you.
Okay.
I'll keep popping up on Hangouts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd forgotten there was an answer a specific one, but if you're interested in that project, yeah, stick your head in and yeah, just sort of say what your level of experience is, and you know, you might well find someone who's just perfectly happy to sort of code along with you, and it's really good learning experience, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, I will stop the broadcast there.
Thank you very much.
No worries.